Hey, hello. Welcome back. So, was not able to fully go through all the pairs and actually mark up anything. I don't think I actually marked up anything last session anyway. So I'm back. Today is Monday. What is the date? I have no idea what today is. Monday, the 19th of September, 2022. And so I don't remember when I actually did the last video, but I was summing up everything that had gone on, going over, looking off all my alerts that had gone off for particular zones. And then I was supposed to come through and mark up my daily and 4 hour zones that I'll be looking at for the rest of the week. And I wasn't able to do that. I didn't do that yesterday. We went out apple picking up in Henderson, North Carolina. And so that was a day-long event, a lot of fun. Got a lot of apples and things of that nature. But just wanted to hop on, go through, look at the 28 pairs that we'll be going through and mark up. So I just want to see roughly how long this is going to take. So I'm actually going to start this now. So going through, and all I'm doing is I'm looking for particular zones on the daily time frame, and it might be quiet as I go through. If something jumps out, then I'll jump out. But basically, I'm going to mark the high of levels that jump out to me as I see things, and roughly the low, and then jump down to the 4 hour time frame and do that exact same thing and see where price has reacted here a few different times, but it's wicked up through and everything like that. So if I drew a zone, it's like, where does this zone make sense? And unfortunately, because it is been broken in and out of in many different areas, whether it was not respected here, came back up, touched, came back through. Actually, that's not that bad. So I'll actually leave this zone alone. The wick passed. I'm okay with it. No, actually, I'm not. That's too much, and it was too much. So I'm just gonna leave it off. Leave that zone off. I'll come up here to a high that was respected in the past, and come up there like that. Low, same thing. Come through, and so as I'm marking up these zones, what I'll end up doing, especially on the 4 hour time frame, is where I'll actually be putting my alerts. So normally when I put an alert, you have a couple different ways to put an alert. You can put an alert directly through price on the trading view right there. I like using the horizontal ray because it sticks after the alert has been gone off. And you can add an alert to it. And there's a couple other features to it that you can play with. Like you can actually do it, okay, like only tell me when the bar closes. Because, if your trading plan, required certain candles to be met, very similar to mine, then waiting for the actual bar to close is kind of important. If it hits it in the first hour of the candle making, then there's really no point in hopping on and seeing how it plays out for the next hour, when really I just need to know when it closes so I can hop on and see, did it meet my plan? And so talked last time about the chart patterns that I'm looking for: momentum reversal, double tops, head and shoulders, and then the reverse of that on the other side for buys and sells. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll mark these up and continue to go. So hop out to next one, looking at odd CHF. We just recently broke this area. So on the daily, this is the most recent broken level that I'm interested in. For a possible bounce out of it, it'll sort of be one of the first tests. So looking for something like just come up and a pop out, maybe even respecting that low down there, jumping in on the lower level. So I don't need it to continue going bearish. I just need it to pop out of the zone. So looking at there, that's what we got there. Looks like we're coming down to this area and we've rejected this area here. And maybe that's where the reaction's coming from. So where's our next zone? This zone can all be part of it, or I could actually come down here and take something like that. So This would be the next support zone. So as price comes down here, it's possible that price will come down here, find a little bit of support, give me a bounce on the lower time frame, and give me an entry. So for the daily time frame, that's what we got. I got these two different zones to look at. Jumping down to the 4 hour, this daily zone will take precedent because the only other zone that I really have is right here on this 4 hour high. But I have no other relevance for this zone. I have really no other relevance, maybe with the long low over here. So it does give me a 4 hour zone. So that gives me an area on it gives me an area on the lower time frame that I could look at for an immediate bounce out of the 4 hour zone. So if I'm trading on the 4 hour, my entry is probably going to be on the 5 minute. So if I can get a respectable pattern in this small little zone on the 5 minute, then that might, be a good play. If we come back here and look at how it actually reacted before for the zone that it actually made, we get somewhat of a double top. So it came up, pushed away. The wicks are not nice on this push away. It would have been nicer if they actually closed away from the zone, and then it came back up and respected this area before falling away. So if we can see something like that in this 4 hour zone, then I would say we're good to go for an entry. So got that. And then that's pretty much it, because this next one down here is the daily, and I just got to see how that will play out. So I will be putting an alert in this zone right there. Oh, that didn't do anything. Why didn't that do anything? That's not the ray. That's why I did have something clicked right. So there we go. So I'll have an alert there where it comes in, and then an alert down here. Now, the way this will work is once price gets in here on the daily or on the 4 hour, if it doesn't respect it and ends up pushing up further, doesn't give me any sort of entry pattern whatsoever, then I'll basically move this up a little further into this daily zone to look for a pattern on a lower time frame, like an hour or an hour time frame is pretty much it. Maybe 2 hour, but I really don't use the 2 hour. It's an hour time frame. So I'll look for a pattern on the hour time frame. So that's what we got for that. JPY, same thing. Jump out to the daily. What do we got? We have nothing crystal clear. We've been up here high for quite some time now. So we have nothing to the left that could possibly help us as another area to go for. As far as support, we have this support zone down here. I'll probably be taking this area here, even though it wicked into there, as the support zone for the daily. Price has on the daily come to this level, broke it, and then came back and retested. I don't think I would have had, I actually don't know if I would have had an entry on that one. So let's see, wick. We take the wick up here. We'd be pushing deep into the zone, and we'd be looking for, on the lower time frame, the 60-minute. We'd be coming down here for something. That is not exactly a head and shoulders. I don't have enough of a push away. But for some people's rules, that may be just perfect for head and shoulders. Comes down in here, dips on the first shoulder, comes up, dips for the head, respects that shoulder area, which is a nice confluence for head and shoulders to get this small little range area before taking off and then coming up here. And so, like, what would that have looked like as far as an entry? An entry would have been after the right shoulder was created on the first bullish candle right there. And then we'd be going for stops a little bit out of the zone and a 1 to 2 point something. So this would still be going. If that was an actual entry, what time was that? That was actually, what was that? That was the 16th. That was a Friday move. So that wouldn't have been me because I wasn't looking at anything. I didn't look at that on Friday. At least I don't remember if that would have been my zone. I'm not sure if that was my zone on the daily from a Friday alert. I'd have to go back and look at the video, part one of this video here, to see if that worked out. So that's what I have on the daily right now. Drop down to the 4 hour, and there's nothing clean and clear as far as this downtrend. We've now broken this low. If it's going to respect this downtrend, then by all technicality, this is the last area that it should come to in order to respect this downtrend. So that's a viable area to be looking for continuation sells. So I'll put an alert there. In this downtrend, I'm not really concerned about a support area until we get to like a daily support area or anything like that. If I'm expecting this downtrend to continue, then trying to put something here would just be suicide because I'm expecting price to blow through this. What I would do is probably put an alert here, just because when we get down here for this support area. So when I was talking about like not concerned about a support area, not concerned about a support area here, previous support that was used in order to push the market up, I'll use that. And so this is probably the next area on the 4 hour, expecting price that if it breaks through to come back and push down into this area. But let me back up a second, because if we're in a downtrend, then by all technicality, I want it to break this area. I want it to break here. And after it does that, after price pushes down, I want it to come back up and test that zone for a possible entry. So I will put an alert down here, expecting that if price were to break, it would alert me. This would let me know to come in here, clean up my zone to see how things interacted. If I never got an entry up here, then I would be moving this zone down, because then this would be the next lower high that was created. That should be respected if it's going to keep this downtrend, and then I'll do that. Now, if price continues to shoot, triggers this, and then continues to move down, at that point in time, I would put an alert here and down here to trap price within this area, so that when I get triggered in an alert, I can actually come back and look and see, is it doing what I'm expecting? So a couple different areas. There's a couple different possibilities that I'm looking out for, and it's just a matter of playing the patience game. So, and that's what this is all about. This has been the road and struggle for me as I go through, is being patient to let things play out, to make a plan and stick to the plan. Looks like we're meeting up a high here. We'll see how it responds there. Doesn't look like I had anything after that, but we want price after it broke that to come back into this area for a possible retest and continuation on the daily. 4 hour, same thing, except my zone is now up here for the 4 hour, and I will put a entry there. Now, normally I have these templates for the different zones. That way, when it alerts, I don't have to think about which zone I'm looking at. It's like, oh, the 240 zone. Okay. So it's like, it's just makes it easy. I'll probably go back and do that a little bit later on. I got time before any of these really hit. And if anything did hit, if I saw something right now, I wouldn't jump in because I didn't plan for it. Daily, we're at this support area, but if we're expecting price to go down, then it should be broken. So what I'd want to see is price come down here and then come back up to test. So that's what I'd like to see. And then we do have a nice little zone that was created here on the daily. but I'm going to jump down to the 4-hour anyway, and we'll see if we can clean that up, what that looks like down here. We actually have a little bit better zone on the 4-hour, not necessarily better as in like strength, but more participation in and around this level. A lot less candle closures through the level. We have candle closures in the level before rejecting. So I will put a 4-hour zone here, put an alert here. I have an alert down below, expecting price to come down here and then give me an entry. So we'll see how this one plays out. CAD CHF, that's the wrong time frame, is making lower lows and lower highs. We got a nice little downtrend. Where's our next support area that on the daily we could possibly hit? I'm going to come further down here because this is the one. This would be the major support area. Be a way to clean it up. Who knows? Probably that. That looks pretty good. We don't have to be perfect. We just need an area of value to look at where we could expect price to give us a little something. We have bounced out of or broken through this area here, and it looks like if you look carefully, even though we have this long wick, it looks like price broke through and then came back and retested there. So on the lower time frame, it's probably going to look a little bit cleaner. So we do. We have a break and a retest of this area here. So I'll leave this here. Still expecting price to come up into the zone. I'd like it to come up a little bit further on this next first retest. This is all part of the downtrend move. Now what we need is an uptrend into it and then resistance from the daily time frame on the 4-hour to flip with the patterns that I'm looking for. And then we'll see how that goes. So I believe I have things marked up on the lower time frame and the higher time frame. So we'll see where that goes. Jumping back out to the daily, CAD JPY. On the daily, we have that zone. It's in that zone now. So I'll actually, what I will do is I will put an entry here, not an entry, but an alert here. If it comes back further into that zone, because this is roughly where I put them, somewhere a little bit less than half or roughly around half. And so it wouldn't have been triggered yet. So even though we're in the zone, you know, you're not going to go down and look for something if you're consistent with your alerts and your entries and everything like that, you want a little bit further into the zone. So we have that on the daily. That might be able to get cleaned up a little bit on the 4-hour. That might push the alert up a little bit. We'll have to see how that goes. We have this small little area here. Okay, you're just not going to be nice to me. Down there. So, well, so the 4-hour, if we look at it, we got to push up, push away, respect. If we did the as expected double bottom, we would have our first test here, second test here, with the follow-on candle being this one right here. Long position, we'd be here, a little bit beyond the zone. We're going for 1, 2, 2 something, 2, 8. So still be in that right now. I'm going to leave this here for the daily though, expecting price, at least from a higher time frame. Yes, you may get a bounce here, but I'm still expecting price to drop a little bit more deeper into this zone before I look for a trade on the 1-hour instead of, oh, this is the 4-hour. So actually it should have been, for the daily, it should have been the 1-hour. In which case, then we'd have something like so. This is the head and shoulders now. So you see how some of the patterns actually they coincide with one another. And so we have a momentum reversal into the zone, follow through. Let's see if I can pull that back up. Two bearish candles, an indecision candle, and then an engulfing candle. We have two bearish candles. This is a iffy indecision candle, but then an engulfing candle. We also have another two bearish, another iffy indecision. Indecisions, it's all going to be by your own sight, but then followed by an engulfing candle. So it's like either one of those could have played out. You could have used it as a double bottom, but if not, you end up the head and shoulders plays through as well. Although not really head and shoulders because we didn't actually close above the first zone. So a double bottom would have been it. You would have been here in this area here where we are. Sorry, come here. We would have been in an entry there, stop a little bit above the zone, and we'd be going for a 1 to 2.8. And so depending on spreads, that might have gotten you out. If not, you'd be out now. So that one would have worked out for the 4-hour zone, but now that's already played out. So that's the beauty of like some of these zones. Oh, wait. Good gracious, stop doing that. So this was the 4-hour zone. So I'd have to drop down to the 5-minute. What is going on? Good gracious. Killing me here, Smalls. Oh no, my zones went away. I think I need to change these. Yeah, they keep going away. All right. So, and this is where that whole, okay, this is a 4-hour zone, which means I drop down to the 5-minute. From the 5-minute zone, what do we have? If we came down here lower, we don't have an entry. There are no wicks to play with for this. This is a breakout, break back in. Sometimes when you have something like that, I will play with the time frame until I can actually get a wick to work with. And it looks like nothing there. Nothing there. Go to the 15. And nothing there. So no real wick to play with. No real anything to play with. But what we do have here, so after that played out, nothing for an entry. Price came back into the zone, and we have a momentum reversal. 2 candles down, indecision. Now that's a beautiful indecision, and then an engulfing candle. And what are we looking for? 2 candles down, an indecision, and then an engulfing candle. Take that trade there. We are coming on the end of that momentum reversal. Stops a little bit beyond here and going for a 1 to 2.8. Technically 2.5, but spread and all. So that actually would have worked out really beautifully, just straight into profit. And so, that's that one. Let's jump back out to the daily, and I need to play with this one too. So have both of those. Go back in here. Price is already moving. On the 4-hour, we do have this previous zone broken. And so what we would do here is go ahead, and we're expecting price to come into here and give us a rejection and then come back down. How far? Well, we don't have to have far. Where did I delete that entry? I did delete that entry. Sorry. I don't want to claim it, but what I want to do is I want to be able to see that if we have a little bit outside the zone and going for a 1.28, that was hit. What does that look like on the 4-hour? That's it. On the 4-hour, it's barely a blip. But that's exactly what we're looking for. for some of these trades. Just barely a blip. That's all we need. A little bounce on the higher time frame. Well, a little bounce on the lower time frame is really just sometimes just a single candle movement on the higher time frame. And so don't need all that. Don't need to shoot for the moon. All we're looking for is a small little bounce. And so going to continue going. Bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. The tops don't sting you. Did I mark? I'm sorry. I did. I have 2 alerts there. Okay. So CHF, JPY. We have this level here on the daily. That is recently been broken. That is a nice zone there, crystal clear. Trying to get into these habits of finding crystal clear zones. Don't try to make up zones. This is why I'm trying to continue recording these the way I'm seeing the market. That way, number one, it makes it harder to, alone by myself in an enclosure on an island, I can convince myself, justify myself of a zone all day long. It's harder to get on here, draw up a zone and go, okay, yeah, here's a zone and here's why. Because it doesn't make sense, especially when I continuously speak the same thing over and over again out loud about, hey, make sure they're clear, make sure there's not a lot of whipping saw here, all through it. Don't take an immediate trade just because you saw a zone that was broken and is now being tested. Like if it wasn't part of your plan, don't do it. And so this is building up me as much as anybody else who's listening. So it's good. It's a good habit for me. So I'm going to keep going. Too high. We have a daily alert there. Got some time before it gets here. You figure each one of these is a day, so this might be way into next week. So this, by all technicality, this might be deleted by the time I do the next session anyway. So 4 hours. All right. So on the 4 hour, unfortunately, with everything so bullish and not really giving anything of value, we have some bearish movement down. Broken, we made a higher low. Nope, a lower high. Broken down, made a lower low, and now we're coming back up and we're testing this area. Come on. We're testing this area here. Now, granted, I would not have been looking at this as a particular area on the 4 hour, and the reasons why is, look, it by all viewpoint, without zooming in, it never actually left this area. Like it constantly had pings back into this area. And so I would not be looking at this as an area. What would be nice if price fell further away and then came back and retested this area. So what I'd like to see is price come down here a little bit more before coming up. I'll definitely want it to like break this little wick low here. That seems to be the driving support for this move here. I want it to break that because that would give me a little bit more confidence in all this move here. And then, we have a bounce up. We do have a break. It never actually stayed down here. So if this is a valid downtrend, then this is the high that it cannot break in order to stay a downtrend. If not, we might end up into some sort of like rangy something where we're bouncing between this top up here someplace and then this support area here. As you can see in the past, this was a support. We're back down here as support. This is our highest high right now in this little movement, rejection from the upward and a starting point for the downward. So if it gets up here and starts ranging, by all technicality, we can play ranges, but we need to see about how it's going to range and where the actual zone is for the range. So that's all I got for CHF JPY. Euro AUD. On the daily, we have a support we bounced off of here. We're coming up. Where did this come from over here? It looks like we have the resistance here. So that's what we got between these two. Looks like we have broken this. This is probably going to be cleaner on the 4-hour, but this is basically that. But once again, we didn't actually leave this area. So give me 1 second. Pausing. All right. So yeah, so it didn't actually leave this area yet. So drop down to the 4-hour, and what do we have here? If I cleaned up the zone here, we still haven't fully broken out of this level. We're sort of like just ranging here up the top. So it's so iffy. It's so iffy. So I think what I'll do is I'll wait to see if price comes up a little bit higher before coming into the zone. I'll put one lower into the zone, and we'll just see how price responds when it gets there. And so we'll see how that interacts, how that goes. Euro CHF. Wrong time frame. Euro CHF's in a downtrend, although we had a couple rangy movements. It finally moved and ranged a little bit more. We're coming back to an area on the daily. If we look at this as a support zone here, with wick jump, 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 jump. That would be a nice little zone there. Waiting for price to get into this zone. So that's what I'll be looking at from a lower time frame once the price gets there. Now, what is nice is I can already see here that I'm probably going to have some nice little zone down here for the 4-hour. That was a support or a resistance, but now it's going to be a support. And so I'll use this area right here. And we've left the area, and now I'm just waiting for price to come back in there. And so that's what we got from there. So that'll be nice. So I'm looking for either a bounce down back in here for a little bounce, or a continuation up here for a bounce down. So that's the plan. If it breaks through, then we'll readjust. Look at this as a resistance area because it has been in the past, and then see if we can get a little bounce out of that on a lower time frame. And then if price breaks through this area because it was in the past support, now it's going to be resistance, and we'll look for a possible bounce to the upside. Just try to keep it simple. Keep it simple. We got here. So I'll try to speed through these. And hopefully you can see the idea behind it. So here we have a possible, with this double bottom, if it comes all the way back up and then back down, we could be looking at triple bottom, or this what would be a range. And so we can play the tops and the bottoms. And so I will put an alert back down here. Now I will not look for a buy if price just does this, or if I don't draw. If price just comes up and then comes down here, because it is very possible that this whole move right here, based upon this downtrend, is a push up, a bounce out of that, a drop down here, and then another lower high for a continuation down. Now, if price makes all the way up here and then comes back down, yes, this is a double top, but we could be entering into a triple bottom here. Usually double tops, as we've seen from just some examples that we've gone through, they just bounce out quickly and then come back. They don't make a full move to another zone and then make it through. So this could be the start of a range. And so we'll see where that goes. the next thing that we could do is come up here for that double top. And so that is possible that we get a bounce out of that. Come out to the daily. Wait. That was the daily. I didn't do the 4 hour. I don't think I'm going to do anything on the 4 hour though, because we don't have anything really clean. We had some structure on the way down. Now we're sort of coming up. We don't really have anything though. I mean, this would be a pretty big area that we've already come in and tested. We haven't dove deeper down into it. So I would be a little bit hesitant to do anything with it. It's possible that price is going to come up here and then start making this structure to this higher time frame here zone before plummeting down. But we just don't know. And so, that's possible. But I'll leave everything where it's at and let the cleaner stuff play out versus trying to see what's going on in that lower time frame, especially with all the wicks and everything like that. It looks like it'll be too messy. We have broken good highs here. Look at that. That's pretty. And the next zone area for possible daily would be up here. Can't even see it on the chart. Good gracious, look at that. So price could come up in here and give us a reaction down. Price could come back in here and give us a reaction up. So we are trapping it between these two zones and seeing what price does. On the 4 hour, it looks like we have, I'm going to use this area here as the 4 hour zone. So I'm actually going to leave this here. I'll move it a little bit just so I can get a different alert on it. But this is a breakout, break back in. So consider this in a wick. As I was looking before when we were trying to go down to a lower time frame on one of the pairs, looking for an entry, we had this breakout, break back in that didn't have a wick zone to look at. And so I didn't know where to put a zone for a double bottom test. And so that's where I will jump through different zone or jump through different time frames in order to find what looks like a wick zone. And so you look on the 6 hour and now you actually have a wick. And so you could use that zone right there. But because this is a breakout, break back in of this level here, we got more touches here and everything like that. I will play with this area here. So yeah, we got that. Is that it? Yeah, good stuff. Euro JPY. Euro JPY, we have hit this area here. We haven't really broken above it or done anything. We got wicks above it. That's that. The area that brought us here is somewhere in this area. We get a little bit more touches here if we play with it. So it looks like we could be ranging. So I will put an alert here. And then what I would like to see, I'm probably going to do it on the 4 hour because it's possible. It's not as nice here. Actually, it would be the hour, but no. Okay. So on the 4 hour, we really don't have anything. We have this ultimate 4 hour high. It's possible to get something in here to drop down lower. And then on the 4 hour, be looking for a break out of this and then come back and retest. So I'm actually going to move this up a little bit and see if how price reacts on the 4 hour here. As we get closer to this zone, that's when I'll move that alert down there. We are in this daily zone. I'm going to use the highs are there and those touches there. So we are in this zone here. I would like to see price push up higher though, before looking for something on a lower time frame. Nothing really clean here. There's no relevance down here. So let's jump down to the 4 hour. 4 hour, we have this little zone here in the 4 hour. So actually trapped between that one. So as long as price moves its way down into that zone, what I'd like to see is a little bit deeper into that zone. Look on the lower time frame for a possible continuation into this deeper zone. So we shall see how that goes. Euro USD. Euro USD looks like it's been ranging on the 4 hour for a little while. All right, so we had a clean break and retest here. We don't have as much as a push of a breakout from this here, so I wouldn't even mess with that. But what we can do is use this level here on the daily as a possibility for another bounce out. Expecting price to break through here and then give a retest area. I'd want a strong breakthrough. Let's see what the 4 hour holds though. I think the 4 hour was looking ugly though. So the 4 hour looks ugly. We've been ranging for a while. We don't have any clear movement. So I will use these zones on the daily. And really that's all I'll look for here. Looks like GBP AUD, roughly the same thing. That's not a clear zone with this test up through there. That might be a little bit better, but it is a wide zone. It is a really wide zone. Look at the zone. No. No. Nope. Just gonna go to the immediate high. And then that's it. So there probably won't be any alerts here because there's nothing. We might have something down here. So we have something on the 4 hour. That's our support area. We have a downtrend that's being formed and respected. A retest here. If we can get a break back down and then a come up again, break back up, we could be looking at a particular retest zone here, just to these lows. And you figure if you found something here within the zone, a little bit above the zone, 1.28 is really all it takes. Let's go even 1.36. There we go. 1.36. So there could be something in here that gets you down there within plenty of room before it actually has a reaction. So what is the game plan? Game plan is look for a break down here or a possible another retest up here for a double top. On the 4 hour, which would be it probably double top, head and shoulder, or momentum reversal on the lower time frame, but here would look like a double top. But in order to do that, price would have to come in here and sort of respect that area. So that'll be the game plan there. Yep. GBP CAD. Broke this. Broke it cleanly, waiting for a pull back up into it. We would be expecting price to continue down in this bearish outlook. What do we have to the left? Nothing for quite some time. So no real area to work with there. What we will do is jump to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, we have been consolidating, going back and forth in this little area here. With that consolidation, this is too wicky. We'll leave that there, but then we'll also come down here for a breakout and a retest into this area here. So that'll be the zone there. GBCHF has just been falling down. No real structure to work with, none on the daily. Jump to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, the last stand level for this downtrend would be here. Like to see, I would not like to see price come all the way back up in here. After all this and to come back up in there, that would not be nice. What I would like to see after all this consolidation here between this zone here is a breakout, then a retest here. If not, and price breaks up here and then starts coming back down, it's possible to then look for buys here, given that zone there. So if we can get a nice clean break up and break back down or fall back down into here and test, I'll look for that. If this rejects this area and then breaks through, then I'm expecting price down here somewhere. So what I'd like to see is this, or I would like to see this. We are ranging here, and we have a well-tested but not necessarily past respected support there. And so we got a range. We'll play with the tops of the range and the bottom of the range until we finally get a breakout. On the 4 hour, we have a bounce from this support here that was tested, respected before. Break down. So if we can get a test up into here, then we could be looking for sells back down to this zone here. Not all the way down. We don't need it all the way down. Just need a small little bounce. And then once that bounces out, and if it continues down, then this would be the next zone to look for as well. And then do that exact same thing, and all the way till we get down here, jump up to a higher time frame, look for an entry on a bounce up, or wait for it to break below and come back up, and just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Support, resistance, breaks and retests. Let's keep it simple. So high there, low here. Looks like GBP, NZD, and GBP, JPY are following suit. Got the two areas there. We do have something a little bit that wasn't here, but now it looks like it hasn't been respected. If that was drawn on, let's see. So if we had to draw this on, if we ignored where price was, let's say we came to the chart and this is what it was. We're like, oh, okay, we got a zone, we pushed away, came down here. Granted, we'd be looking at it going, okay, yeah, but if this was going to push it, it should have pushed it and broke it. But now we have a double bottom. So what would we wait for? We'd wait for price to come back up here for a double top here to break down and for possible ranging to give us that triple bottom, or price to break up and come back in. So what would our zone look like though? And I think actually we're pretty spot on with that. So now if we came back and price had come back into this level, let's come back in here. This is the 24-hour daily. So we're going down to the hourly. That's our zone up there. So let's see how price played out. We'd be coming up. Price wicks through, gives us nothing really. Continues down. See, price is above the zone for our area. And so, and I guess that was news. That was a big spike. I guess that was news. So no real entry there, sadly. I mean, it wouldn't have been sadly because we would have been stopped out, but there was no entry. So, and then now we're just in this area. So if we go back out to that 4 hour, we see that, okay, now that the zone is not being respected, we can get rid of it. Do we have anything else that we can play with though? That would give us an opportunity for a trade. And like, you might want to be like, oh, well, come on, look, price came here, Jack bounced off, we got a bounce here, now it's above and it's testing us as support. Okay, let's move it down a little bit so we can get the support area. Yeah, but then you got nothing here that actually respects anything. And so it's like, why? Don't fight that. Don't make it hard. Just keep it simple. So let's leave that alone. We'll jump back out to the daily. What we would like to see here is a test up here or a test back down into here. And basically anything in between this area on the way up or down, we want to leave alone because it's not clear. It might be clear later on in the week, but it's not clear right now. GUP NZD, see, there we go. This is clear. This was a bounce, broke away. It even hesitated for a little bit before falling through. It looks like it came up, didn't fully come back to the zone to test it. If we include the little hesitation area, it did, but let's leave it for the actual area here. We'll see how what price does when it gets there. And so we'll put in a zone or a alert here, see if price triggers us in, alerts us on something. And then I would like something a little bit lower. Why lower? Because we have had a bounce. We had a bounce out of this area. It came up, retested the small little zone there. And if it breaks down here, it doesn't look like it now, but if it continues down, it would be a nice shot before coming back up. So depending on how that goes, is what I'll be looking for. Zone. You can draw it on there. Ready? Here, back down, or here, back up, and then back down. We're already on daily. Oh, we didn't go down to the 4 hour. I don't think I want to go down to the 4 hour. No, I don't. The only thing you have for the 4 hour would be this. It's a bounce. It's a break. It's a really small zone. We'll look at it. I'll look at it if it looks viable. See, that's the only thing is we're already in this zone. And so this could get choppy to begin with, to play with. And it's like, man, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to touch that at all. I'll leave it, and I will just put here. See how it reacts. GP NZD. Oh, nope. NZD CAD. Can't read. In a nice strong downtrend. Just sort of stalling on these pushes. We have some nice solid pushes through, breakthroughs, not so solid. Very, very consolidating on the way down. Could be losing that sell-off steam. Are we coming into something? Don't see anything. So it's like, okay, what do we do from here? Well, we don't really have anything. We have something way up here that we probably wouldn't get to. So I'm going to might have to mark up differently. On the 4-hour, what do we got? We definitely have a support zone that is being respected. We have a downtrend, lower lows, lower highs. What would we like? I would like, if this is the high that's going to create the low, there is a very strong possibility that it will be respected for a possible double top on this time frame. It's already come down and respected this area. I would have liked it to come a little bit higher before coming up and retesting this area. We're already down here. So what I'd really like to see is a break down and then back up for a continuation down. So let's put a alert down here, waiting for price to break through, and then we'll be able to reassess the situation. Not so sure on this one. I'll have to see how this one plays out once it gets up in there. Once again, I'm only looking for a small bounce on the lower time frame, so it's possible. But the fact that this has already come up and then pushed so far away sort of takes away from the double top feature. Double tops are just meant to be a quick push away and a comeback, not down to a whole nother zone. So, something like this is a push away and a comeback. It didn't come all the way down to this support zone before coming back. So is it possible that it can work? Yes, but not as highly probable as these usually do. So we'll see how that goes. Daily on NZD CHF, we have a support zone that was broken. It was respected 3 times in the past. What we'd like is price to come back in it, respect it again on the way down, give us an entry, and let it drop to the rock bottom while putting 400 lots on there and buying a Maserati. Actually, buying a Maserati isn't that crazy. Went out car shopping for one of my boys, and there's like a 2006 Maserati on the lot for 12 grand. And it's like, this could be his first car. He could own a Maserati. And I'm not rich. So like, to be your first car and not come from like a real filthy rich family, it's like, that's crazy. So yeah, Maserati, not too crazy. Let's see what the 4-hour brings us. 4-hour brings us another zone to play with. So a little bit smaller. So we will move that a little bit down more. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as the 4-hour, so I'm not getting crazy. That's previous there. Got nothing there. Break there, it's just shot down. We're going to see some structure on the way up if it's going to come this way. So actually what I'd like to see is how price forms before it gets to this area, because it may form some nice clean structure that we can take for sells all the way back up into this area, going against the bigger trend. But by all technicality, some trend goes against some other trend. Although I guess in the grand scheme, what do we got on the daily? Do we even have? So I guess on the grand scheme of things, at least from 2017 on down, it looks like it's just been steadily going lower and lower. I would be hard pressed to say that we've found some sort of uptrend structure. It's been more downtrend than anything else. So yeah, definitely going against the trend. But if it works out, it works. You take the trade, call it quits. Let the numbers play out. The numbers will play out. We already jumped down to the 4 hour. Let's move to a different pair. NZD, JPY. We have a resistance zone, but I'm not exactly sure where it's at, because now we have this high here that was created here recently. We have a test there, some respect there. So it's like we have this whole zone here. But if we look at pushaways, that would be it right there. First time it tested, it had a huge push away. If this is the second test, then we're expecting a huge push away. Where's our next level? That's a good question. We've had some supports, but that's pretty much it. If my bias is a big push away now that we're up here again, then by all technicality, I want to be catching that on the lower time frame in the structure that it's creating. So let's see what we have here. We have a small little bounce area. Price is broken through and come back. Okay, cool. Didn't create the lower high here because it never fully broke through, and now we have a small little range. If it's going to remain in this downtrend and use this as structure, this is the last point for that. If it's going to remain in this downtrend, then it needs to break out of this. So now that I have these ideas, not trusting that because it didn't actually give a strong enough move, although it is a pretty clean zone, could use it as a zone. And then if price doesn't give a good entry, then just wait. I would like this to break. So I'd like price to break out of this and then come back. But then this being the final downtrend zone. So these are all 4 hour zones. All right. So that seems to be the game plan. What I'd like to see is, well, I guess I really would like to see price to come in here and then come down. Or price to break down, come back up, and then come down. If price makes its way up here, chances are it's going to break through this. If it breaks through this strongly, we could look at that as a possible come up, break back down on the way to here to test that as the previous lower high in this downtrend. Excuse me. So let's see. NZD-JPY. I don't know my pairs. We just left NZD-JPY. NZD-USD. Come back to the chart, reset the chart. What do we want? We're in a downtrend. We have this previous structure here. It was broken. We have not really, we have broken it. It didn't break it as cleanly as we've seen in some of these other pairs, but it is broken. So we have a level to work with. Let's go there. That is one zone to look at. On the 4 hour, we have a 4 hour zone that I would have to make bigger to encompass both this support that bounced this as well as the minor support before the resistance, and then the second attempt. So with that being said, this is not. It's almost very similar to the other ones. Like I would rather not, but it is a possibility. It is a possibility. So we'll put that there. Maybe we won't. Maybe that's the Forex creator saying, don't do it. Don't place a trade there. It will not work out for you. So, possibility. Another possibility. And what I'd like to see, break down, come back up, and then there. So plan A, B, and C. D, E, and F, and G. There's all sorts of plans. You never know. USD CAD. The USD CAD, oh, look at that. We've had a nice break above this area. Nice break above this area. Go down to this 4 hour. What do we got? I still have a clean zone here for the 4 hour. So then I really only have that. I like that. So that's pretty much that. Do we have anything on the daily way to the left? We do. What do we have? We have some structure here that was broken, retested, and all this other stuff. Not fully respected, but that was a respect there. So we'll do this. So this is on the daily. Oh, are we already touching this level? We are. So it's very possible we can get a bounce and then a further push into that level. So that's viable. The other idea is it just continues pushing up anyway, and then we get further up in this level, and then we can get a further bounce back down on this higher time frame. So let's look at that. We'll leave that as those two options. And USD CHF. USD CHF. What do we got? We have this high. We have this low. That pretty much sums that up. On the nothing. No, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave this high and this low as the two areas to look at. USD JPY. So we have that. We have a nice clean break above. I would love to see price come back in here. We have anything else over to the left? Negative. We are on the high of the high. Price could pull back and push back up. So we'd like to see something up here, if that is the case. This is on the daily, so I mean, by all technicality, I should be coming back and checking anyway. I might not clear the charts next time, because if I have some of this stuff marked up, depending on how it plays out, I might just readjust. Yeah, so price could come back in here, never come back to that zone completely, and then finally break up. And then this would be the area that we'd look at for a possible retest there, or come back down here and go up. So either one for those. Drop down to the 4 hour. And we don't have, so basically we're ranging between this area here and this area here. And so it's possible to play the range. So we could see that. So let's see what these two areas here look like. I would only generally only play the range if I'm active at my computer. I wouldn't play a range like this for alert type. I'm going away or anything like that. If I'm sitting here and I know I'll be like working or anything like that, or I'll be doing something for school or for budgeting, things of that nature, then I would play a range like this. Usually drop on the lower time frame, 1 hour, 15 minute, that sort of thing. But like for this, I'll see what it looks like. Um, we could bounce out of this and just get a small little bounce. We'll see how that works out. So that is all 28 pairs that we've marked up. It only took an hour and well, I'm still going. It only took an hour and 10 minutes, and that was with talking. Um, but basically now it's a waiting game. Alerts are set. There probably could have been a couple of them that I could have cleaned up a little bit more, but my alerts are set. Once the alert is set, you have time. I think I've talked about it before. Once the alert is triggered, chances are it's you're going to have a little bit of time before you actually get in there and see any of these patterns play out. And so there's not really a rush. And if you miss the trade, you miss the trade. Like you're not going to catch them all. There's some that happens while you're sleeping, some that happen while you're away. You take vacation. There's all sorts of things. If you have family, you have kids, then there's going to be other things that take you away from the screen, and it's good for you. You shouldn't be on the screen at all times. So an hour for marking up the charts. I am set for the week basically. If I decide to, want to trade 1 hour, 5 minute, a 15 and 1 minute sort of thing, I do a little bit of differently trading style on those ones. That's usually the two candle theory with currency strength and weakness as a confluence. That's a little bit different of a strategy than just the zone strategy. And so, yeah, it's just a waiting game now. So that is pretty much that. I want to thank you guys for coming and being a part of this and continuing with me on my journey. If this is part of your journey, then I want to hope you find favor in it and all of your endeavors. So thank you and God bless.